Commander Dr. Mary Kelly. Commander Dr. Mary Kelly. You know it's going to be good when the first word is commander. Served 25 years in active duty in the Navy, mostly in Asia. She was an intelligence officer, a logistics officer, a counterterrorism officer, a professor, and a chief of police. Don't be afraid, be very afraid. Mary is currently the 56th ranked economist in the entire world. We're not talking like on Amazon's list on Tuesday, 56th in the entire world. She is author of 15 books, and she can usually be found in the company of dogs and or wine, not necessarily in that order. Now, a little known fact about Mary is that she would really, really, really like to meet Condoleezza Rice. So if you can help an NSA sister out, let her know at mary@productiveleaders.com. So if any of you know Condoleezza Rice, let Mary know, hook her up. All right. And now sharing on the topic of crises, challenges, and changes. Are you ready? Please welcome Commander Dr. CSP CPE, Mary Kelly.
You know, the difference between a professional race car driver and the rest of us is that they are able to accelerate into the curve. As they're approaching a high bank, say Daytona, which was a few weeks ago, as they're approaching that elevation, and there's that uncertainty, they accelerate into the curve. You know what most of us do? We take our foot off the gas. We stop. And folks, during any crisis, challenge, or change, this is what a lot of people do. They take their foot off the gas. So my hope today is to give you my tactics, my strategies, and the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to just let you know right now, I work more than 4 hours a week. I have not mastered that, but I do think that many people let the crisis of the moment stop their business. They slowed down their growth, and they took their foot off the gas. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how we manage to move through a crisis, challenge, or change. I'm going to share with you what I call the speaker hustle. Now, the speaker hustle happened when a friend of ours, all of ours because we're all friends here, called me up and said, Mary, what do you do to get business? Like, what does your day look like? So I took him through what my day looked like. I said, every single day I wake up and I have a daily discipline that looks like this. I focus on what I need to be that day, what I need to be determined about, what I am deliberate about with the actions I have and the thoughts I have for the day, because that is what I can control. I cannot control all kinds of other things. And then I look very carefully at the spheres I want to dominate. Where am I strong? I don't know how to pronounce that top word, niche or niche. I really don't know how to pronounce that. But I know what lane I should be in most days. And I'll be honest, it's the people paying me money. That's where I'm going to go. Now, I would love to specialize in certain industries, but I've got a little bit of a challenge that a lot of you don't have. But I do have a great community, and you're all here. So I focus on my community, the things I know, where I have some kind of relevance, and then I focus on every single time showing up and doing some kind of dependability. And by that, I mean what I do before, during, and after a program that is about the research I do, being diligent, being ideally dynamic on stage and with the audience before, during, and after the actual program, and being distinctive. Sherry scared me earlier. She said, so I'm excited to hear your talk today. And I said, well, it's not really my talk. It's kind of my playbook for my business. And she said, oh my goodness, you're doing a talk you've never done before? I said, what's so scary about that to all the people I know and love all the time? Nothing, nothing, nothing. So there's going to be some aspect to this I'm just going to share with you right away that you look at and go, that is a terrible slide. And you would be right. But let me tell you, especially for the people who are live streaming this in, and thank you so much for doing that, I realize that when you're live streaming and we're trying to show the stage as well as slides, it doesn't always convey that well over a computer. So I just need you to know I made you handouts. I made actual handouts, and I'm going to share with you very quickly where to get those, because anytime you see a lot of words on a page, it means there's a handout to go with them, and this is part of that too. So what does this look like, and what do your boxes look like? So I just filled in some of my boxes on the lower part of that. They may not be boxes for you. It's just kind of what I do, and so I shared that with, again, one of my speaker friends. So how do we get more business? What do we do, and how do we move through a crisis, challenge, or change? By continuing to serve the people we best serve. And how do I find more time in the day to do all the things that I know I need to do to grow my business? So Brian was really kind to give me a great introduction. I appreciate that. So just a couple other fun facts. I know a lot of you in this room, and I'm so grateful for the first-timers who are here, or people I don't know. I would desperately love to get to know you. So please write down my information, and let's have that chat. You don't need to give me the Starbucks card, I promise. But just a few other fun facts. I've been paying taxes since I was 12. My dad had a business. He was a sales rep, and I worked business expos, halls like this since I was about 7. I started paying taxes when I was 12. I worked until I went to the Naval Academy. I got to graduate from the Naval Academy. I was 3 days 21 when I took the oath, and was then sent to Asia, and that's where I got to spend most of my career. A fun fact, my husband and I met each other when we were hunting the same terrorists. Aww. So sweet, all the fun. So in my 30s, I was busy. I was a chief of police, I ran marathons, I ran military bases, I was doing counterterrorism work, and I was trying to figure things out. And then I hit 40. In the military, you move around a lot. One of the greatest things about being in the military, by the way, do I have any other military folks here? Any other former militaries? Yes, there we go, yes, thank you, and thank you. Boom. The big secret they don't tell you in the military that they should have told you in the recruiting poster is if you hate your job, it's okay. Because in 2 years, either you're going to change, your boss, who you hate, is going to change, the location's going to change, or you're going to move jobs anyway. So you get to do all kinds of other things. So this is what I got to do in my 30s and 40s. And then I need to share with you that when I retired out of the Navy, I did not know what I wanted to do. But at the time, I was a professor at the Naval Academy. And our new admiral who came in, our new superintendent, got up on stage, and he had a cue card. And he said, "Hello, my name is Admiral fill in the blank," because there's some things that should not be mentioned because it's being filmed. "I will be your new superintendent. Look up." "I will now turn it over to my deputy." And we all sat there in stunned silence. And the person next to me was the public affairs person. And I looked over at her and I said, "Oh, Josie, your job just got so much harder." And she says, "Nope, yours did." She said, "I can't send him out in front of groups of people." I said, "I'm not the admiral. People are going to be really disappointed." And she said, "I know." People call up all the time and say, "We want the admiral." And they go, "No, you're going to get Commander Kelly." And they go, "But we don't want Commander Kelly, we want the admiral." So when I would do these talks, there were very low expectations. Just want to point that out. That worked in my favor. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about growing your business in a way that you want to grow your business. So for some of you, that means making more money. It means being around your friends. It means enjoying more food and drink that you like. It means being around your pets. How many of you thought the greatest thing about the last couple of years is spending more time with your pets? I know, all the dog things. How you want to grow your business is all up to you. If you want to grow it, it's all a decision. Are you going to grow your business for revenue? Are you going to grow your business because you're going to work with groups of people who fill your soul? Are you going to grow your business in a way that allows you to pass it down to your daughter, Shirley Davis? I'm looking at you. Just pointing that out. And are we growing our business in a way that best serves, and I love that question today from Rory and AJ, that best serves our people? Because our people are in a time of crisis, challenge, and change. We've had to contend with a little bit of this, but we've also got to contend with other things that are going to continue to plague us, like cybersecurity. It's not a question right now of if you're going to get hacked and ransomed. It's a matter of when you're going to get hacked and ransomed. Sam, am I right? Totally right, good. And we've still got supply chain problems. Right now, there's only 78 ships off the coast of Long Beach and Los Angeles, where about a month and a half ago, there were 109 ships off the coast of Long Beach and Los Angeles. 40% of everything that comes into the United States comes through those two ports. These are current issues, and we're going to have to contend with them for the next year. It is causing people to feel a sense of scarcity. When people feel a sense of scarcity, they're not thinking about other people. Now, one of the other problems is the Great Resignation. Now, Meredith, you and I think this is the great attraction. We think it's the greatest thing ever because it allows people, those 22 million people who left jobs, to now be part of a talent pool where we can now find new talent. However, some of these meeting planners are some of those people who left jobs. And for many of us, those contacts we had at those corporations or associations who hired us in the past no longer work there. So what do we do? Where do we go to find our work? And how do we combat our financial stress, which many of us had during this time, with everything else around us? How do we not be at the end of our rope? Because when we're at the end of our rope, we have to remember, folks, that uncertainty is like chronic pain. It is exhausting. It gets in our head. So another speaker friend of mine called me up one day and said, how do you not seem to be bothered by all the stresses going on around you? I mean, is it like some kind of impervious thing that they touch in the military, or are you just stupid? I said, well, I don't know. And she said, well, what do you do when you feel stressed out? I said, well, I map it out, and it looks like this. So we were on a Zoom call, and so I mapped this out, and I said, this is kind of what I asked myself. You know, what can I control about this situation? Is there anything here I can actually impact? What can I influence? Is there anything I can do to affect this outcome? And is it going to help me if I just get mad? Getting mad generally doesn't help much. And she said, you know, this would be really helpful for some of my clients. And I said, well, then let me clean it up for you. So I cleaned it up, and it turns like this. So then it became how to manage stress, increase productivity, and stay positive. And I asked the same kind of questions. I'm like, well, do I own this issue? Can I fix this problem? Will my actions affect the outcome? Can my influence be helpful in any possible way? Will I be happier if I get involved? Because it's a very different thing. So as many of you know, I'm very involved in animal rescues. And every time there's a problem with an animal rescue and somebody dumped an animal, I get mad. It does not make me happier to be involved, but it does help others. So does that make sense? That's a different question. So if any of those questions are a yes, then it's something that I can control, and it falls into that category. If it's a no, then it goes into the other category. And those other categories, outcomes and politics and other people, what other people think, I can't control that. So to me, it's kind of like water off a duck, to which my friend said, so you're just oblivious. So, well, there might be that. Folks, in any crisis, challenge, or change, there are 6 stages that most people naturally go through. Most people. A lot of people get stuck in the first 4 stages. The first 4 stages are all very myopic. It is all about circle the wagons, what about me? The first stage is the rejection phase. In the rejection phase, our natural response is, oh no. Oh no. So let's say you get bad news. Oh, somebody was in a car accident. Oh no, are they okay? You immediately go to the mitigation of the consequence of what that was. Oh no, are they okay? Okay, well, they're going to be okay. Well, do they need me to go to the hospital? Do I need to do anything? No, it's going to be fine, Okay. The rejection stage is, it's not going to affect me. How do I make bad news or a bad situation not affect me? Now, folks, I still have a relative, and this whole big crisis virus that we've been dealing with, I still have a relative, and he's a smart relative, who does not believe there's actually a virus. Still in the rejection phase. All right. And instead of getting mad about that or upset about that, I have to understand it is a phase. Now, the second phase is the recognition phase, where we understand it for what it is. Now, some of you, Joel, I'm looking at you, you remember the oil crisis of 1973-75. Remember that? Odd and even gas prices, all of that. In that crisis, people were doing things that were temporary in nature. They were saying, okay, I'm going to conserve gas, I'm going to carpool, I'm going to take fewer trips to the grocery store. But they were thinking short term. In the recognition phase, it's very short term. It's what do I have to do today to get through this situation? Now, in the short term, we did all of these things. We said, okay, we're going to save money on commuting. We're not going to worry about traveling so much. This will be great. I can work in sweatpants or yoga pants or short pants or no pants. We saw some of that. And then I have to work from home. I get to work from home. And we have to understand, folks, that for many of our clients, working from home for us is a very different experience than for our clients. That sometimes for us working at home, we're like, okay, this is great. Maybe there's some noise. Maybe the cat's jumping behind me. Maybe there's children. Folks, for a lot of people, working from home is not a great place. Maybe there's not enough food. Maybe there's not enough literal bandwidth. Maybe there's not enough space. Maybe there's a domestic violence situation. For many people, working from home is not great. And we sometimes fail to think about that when our situation is pretty good. And then for a lot of us in the short term, we said, hey, this will be great. We're going to have more time with family, which sounds fantastic until you have more time with family. And then you look at each other and go, baby, how can I miss you if you never go away? So hard. And we learned to adapt. We learned to do Zoom calls with a dog on our lap, and we all bought earphones. And we got new office managers who were terribly cute. This is not my child. It's a paid actor right there. And this led us into the realization phase. And in the realization phase, we knew we had to step it up. We have to step up our leadership. We have to step up our reassurances. And in this realization phase, this is what I call, for the animal lovers in here, pat head, hold paw. Who's got dogs? Where are my dog people? Okay, so all you dog people, every time there's a dog on the screen, I want you to go, aww. Okay, so hang on, it's coming. All right, and where are you cat people? Yeah, I got nothing for you. Okay, just saying, I got nothing. In this phase, we all decided we had to get better technology, and that sounded like a really good idea until somebody, Dan Thurman, ruined it for all of us. He does this whole big video, look, I'm now Hollywood, and I've got my entire team of family members who are official producers. And we all sat there and went, I need to go apply at Walmart. I hope they're hiring. What are your skills? Walmart greeter, I'm right there. But for some of us in this realization phase, having to make those longer term, more permanent fixes is where we had to go. We had to get the HM minis, we had to get microphones, we had to do all the things. And then we settle in our offices, we're like, okay, we got this. We got this. We can do this. And this leads us into the resolution phase. In the resolution phase, we say we can support each other. We're on this. People like Ross Bernstein started up, weekly or once every other week calls to bring people together and support each other. And we said we can do this, we can support each other. These are the first phases of any crisis, challenge, or change. And a lot of people, folks, will cycle through all 4 of these phases every single morning with their coffee. Oh no, we're still in this. Okay, it'll be okay. I'll save some money on commuting. All right, I need to step up my leadership. We can do this. Very myopic. Very circle the wagons, very much me, my job, my family, my community, my dog, my kids homeschooling, me, protect me. Because in the first 4 stages, we feel threatened by the things that we cannot control. Now, my leaders moved very quickly, and a lot of you did, into stage 5. In stage 5, you realize what the new reality is. Got it. Bringing people together is going to be more difficult. All the details are going to change. Everything is on the table to change. And they immediately jumped into the strategy, which was externally focused, which is exactly what Rory and AJ talked about this morning. How do you serve other people? And these are the strategy issues that they looked at. And it was, what can I do to support my people? And a lot of you know what kind of I was doing during that time, and a lot of you did very similar things. Anything you could do to help your meeting planners and your corporations and your associations. How do I work cooperatively with my competition? Folks, my best friends and my best competition are in this room right now. And I love that about us because we work cooperatively all the time. And we refer each other and we help each other and we encourage each other. Where can I improve my processes? I don't know about you, but some of the restaurants around where I live, they made it very difficult for me during the last few years to keep them in business. I'm like, I am here trying to give you money and you're making it hard. Their processes were not helpful. They were difficult. So how do we improve our processes? What do we need to do differently moving forward? How does this change my leadership? How do I help my people change? Where do I need to put resources? All of the strategic questions. So one of the challenges I have for you today is if you could do one of these things that would improve your business, what would give you the most revenue right now? By the way, I love that you're taking pictures of slides. It just makes me feel good, even though I'm pretty sure I did this at 3 o'clock in the morning after a lot of wine. When they said, we need your slides by tomorrow, I said, what? Okay, great. So there's some slides, and Mike Robertson, I know you're looking at some of these slides going, you've got a lot of words on these. I know. You will get the PowerPoint presentations as well. I'm going to give you a resource link where you're going to get all the handouts, and I'm going to go really, really fast. So please don't be like, wait, I missed that, come back. Strategically, we've got to be looking at 4 areas because that's what our people care about. If you look at this like a clock, the first part of it is the people part. What do your people care about? They want to know if they've got the right talent acquisition. The acronym I use for this is ARMED. How do you attract, Recruit, retain, mentor, manage, evolve, and develop your current and future generation of leaders, clients, employees, and people. What do? Then you've got to be making sure that you've got the right technology and tools in place. I think in the future, all of us are probably going to be taking Bitcoin as payment. Right, Terry? We're probably, yeah, he's doing it now. Do I think it's stupid? Yeah, doesn't matter. If people think there's value in it, look, if you want to pay me in gift cards, I'm good with that. You want to pay me in wine, I'm all about that too. That's fantastic. And some of you know I'm not kidding. And then we have to manage the uncertainty of everything around us. When we show up, folks, it should be the good guys are here. Let's show up and make everything calm, and when the speaker shows up, we are the calm, the rational, the reasonable. We manage the uncertainty. And then we've got to make sure that we're being strategic, that we are providing the business growth that our people need. Now, some of the other things you're going to get are some of my checklists. In the military, if we do something, don't we, more than once or twice, we're going to make a checklist out of it. Because if we can make a checklist out of it, then we don't have to think too hard the second time around. So this is my goal-setting one. I've got about 80 of them. You're going to get 14 of them in the 12-month plan that might be helpful. The topics on those are business growth, vision, business, focus, productivity, all kinds of things. Hopefully that will help you. And some of you are thinking, but Mary, we would like that now. And here you go. Thank you. See how well that worked? That was awesome. Sure, you're going to text the word dog to 66866. And no, this does not mean you get added to my newsletter list. The word dog, 66866. I know way too many sixes to be comfortable, but this is the NSA vault. I know, right? I know. And this is, when I do this for my organizations, it does go into a separate place. You're getting a vault. So if you are doing this from home and you want to just go directly to the vault without using your phone, perfectly great. You're going to go to productiveleaders.com/NSA. I know, so clever, so clever. And you're going to be able to download all the resources and the workbook and the NSA checklist and the handouts and all of the stuff that I'm talking about, because here's your strategy. Again, look at it like the face of a clock. What does this look like as we move our businesses forward? So as a strategic plan, we map this out. I like things that all start with the same, letter of the alphabet, like the R's and the P's and the D's. You've seen that, or acronyms, or I number things. So in the strategic plan, I think there's 4 quadrants. It's your picture, your purpose, your plan, and your people. Again, looking at it like the face of a clock. So moving through these again very quickly, I know. What is your vision for the future, and what do you want your business to look like? What should be fun for you? And thank you, Peter Stark, for helping me figure out what vision statements actually should look like. They need to be exciting and motivating and a little scary and very compelling. And then you move into that why. So you know what your purpose is, but then how do you put this together with where you need to be and figure out the why of what it is you do, like with what Rob did earlier today. What is your why? Who are you serving? You are serving the people who used to be more like you, or you were most like that person, or something like that. Rory said it really well. So who benefits with our success? What do we need to be providing? And how are we different and better? And not from the other people sitting next to you, because it's very, very easy to compare ourselves to the people sitting next to you. But how are we different and better from the person we were a year ago or 2 years ago, before the challenges happened? One of the questions I love to ask is, how are we better because of this challenge? And then from there, you map out the goals, and you figure out what it is you really want to do. And then you surround yourself with the people you need in order to get there. And make sure you've got people in your life who are going to encourage you and help you. Now, part of what I'm talking about is the 90-day, I call it the cycle of love. And when I was crafting this and Valentine's Day was coming up, this seemed like a really good idea, and now it just seems a little strange. Apologize for that. But when I was on the podcast with Tom Singer, and thank you so much again for that, we were talking about this, and he said, it would be really great if this was mapped out. So again, Mike, this is one of those slides that is a terrible slide, and the reason why you're getting this as a handout. And one of the things that came out in the podcast with Tom, and he said, but a lot of this sounds like a lot of work. I said, this is one of the takeaways I have from Jeannie. Because she said, I'll outwork you. I'll outwork you. And she did. So she was very, very motivating, and she helped us see what the business possibilities could be. And I ask people sometimes, I just got to go to Utah, and I got to work with firefighters in Utah, and I said, why do you go into burning buildings when the rest of us run out of burning buildings? And they said, because we trust our gear, our training, and our leadership. So our leadership is us and the people we surround ourselves with. It's how we lead our companies. The gear are the tools that we've got in order to make this business a success. And the training is exactly what we're doing with each other right now. So how do we do this and how do we implement this? Well, this is what the handout looks like. I choose 30 people to love on really well for about 90 days. And you're thinking, that seems a little ambitious. Yes. When I first went to a winter conference about 14, 15 years ago here in Orlando, everybody's talking about these past client people and your current clients, and I was like, well, I don't have any of those. So what do you do if you don't have that? Well, instead of going to past clients, you go to these places. And what does this look like? Well, when I started my business, I didn't have any corporate contacts, like I had zero. I was in Asia, I came back, and I taught at the Naval Academy. And in case you're wondering what it looked like at the Naval Academy, it's this. I found this picture on my dad's desk when I was cleaning it out in April of this year. My dad died in March. And this is a picture of my brother and I right after I'd taken the oath of office. Folks, this is 39 years ago. Yeah, that's my older brother. And I know what some of you are thinking. They had cameras back then? Yes, that's when Jeffrey was still at Kodak. Okay, so there's that. I worked on that and I wasn't sure it was going to work, so thank you. So let's just say you've got, you don't have specific cold outreach, but you do need outreach. So where do you go to get people? So you go to the associationexecs.com website, and if you want to, you can pay for that, but there's a free trial for like 2 days. So what you do is you totally block your calendar, you sleep ahead of time, get a lot of caffeine, and you just go in there and find all the association execs you can find. The other way to do that is called the Encyclopedia of Associations. You can get a brand new set for about $1,500. It's 221 version, but you can also walk to the library, you know that library place with the bricks and all that stuff, and you can open it up and you can search for associations in your location or wherever you want to travel to who have budgets and websites and contacts, and you can look that up. You can also, of course, go to LinkedIn. But the secret weapon, the Intel Engine. Who does the Intel Engine? Yep, right there. Folks, the Intel Engine is solid gold. My way of doing it was so old school, and then I found this Intel Engine that Sam Richter put together, and it is absolute genius. Folks, this is how you do. You want to find an association, you put it in the Intel Engine. You want to find out who they hired last year, you put in the Intel Engine. If I really want business, I'm like, where did Mark Hunter speak last year? And all these things come up, and I'm like, if they can afford Mark Hunter, I am a bargain, this is great. And I stalk them, and then I find them, and then I track them, I put them into an Excel spreadsheet. If you want access to this, go ahead and email Sam. You're welcome, Sam, here you go. Sam@samrichter.com, go for it. So what does my love look like? So let's say I want to map this out, 12 touch points in 90 days. So I just map this out. So I'm going to connect them on LinkedIn. I'm going to write a handwritten note. I'm going to send them postcards that talk about what it is I do. Hey, how you doing? Here's a strategy thing. Something that provides some kind of value. I'm going to maybe send them a book with one of my one-sheets in it. I'm going to maybe send them a workbook with one of my one-sheets in it. I'm going to send them other people's books. Hey, I thought you might like this amazing book. It's by Ron Carr. It's by David Avron. This is what this looks like. I want to make sure that they've got something of value, like the sales triggers. Where do I get that? The Intel Engine. I might send them hard copy articles because I've seen that article and I thought, wow, that might be of impact to you and that might make a difference. Now, what I did in October is because I like wine, and a lot of you know that, I have wine bottle openers, I have stoppers, and I have the aerators. And so I have all of them with little dogs on them, because if I put my information on it, people throw it away. But if you put dogs on them, dog people, what are we going to do? We're keeping it forever. You know we are. So I send them this in a little bitty package with a little note that says, hang on for the box that goes with that. And then about 3 days later, the bottle of wine arrives. And so it's not one but two touch points, but I get credit for a lot. And then they build some anticipation, and they always, always, always call me or text me or email and go, that was fun, thank you so much. So that works. And it's sort of my Navy branding. By the way, did you know that Navy ships are dry? Did you know that? We don't actually have alcohol on Navy ships. Isn't that sad? It's kind of sad. On British ships, Canadian ships, Japanese ships, New Zealand ships, they all still have alcohol. We like to go there. We like to be deployed to their ships. I just want to point that out. Then sometimes, especially during the last couple of years, I do subscribe to giving your best first. I like that idea, again, a lot. So I will send them a link to my full program and say, hey, I know you've got a virtual program. I know you had some people cancel. If you need a program, here's one. I went to Chuck Gallagher's, and I recorded it, and it looks amazing because he did it. And I send it to them. They go, how much is this? I go, look, we're all in this together. Here you go. And those people are coming back to me in droves right now. Micro-learning and video packages as well, and what does this look like? So a lot of times, I do a lot of forecasting because, that whole econ thing. And I will map out what I see happening every year. So 22 for 2022, 21 for 2021. It's a good thing it's not 1995. So it's much easier for me. So I send this out as just a value added. Now the 12-month planner that I was talking about, it's a workbook. It looks like this. I call it the 12-month Business Success and Accountability Planner. Who wants it? Doesn't everybody sound like that's a great idea? Who here would like more accountability, more business success? Okay, 4 people. Okay, that's great. Thank you for that. But my teams love this, and all my execs use this. So there's 2 pages that look kind of like this every month, and you map out your goals, and then you align them with your team's goals, and wouldn't that be a great idea? And then you figure out what you want to do more of this month, what you want to do less of this month, what you need to do to delegate or outsource to be more productive, and you take control of your time, and you do this every single month. And at the end of every month, that's mapped out in this 12-month planner is one of the 5-minute plans to help you grow your business. So people get this and they go, oh, this is really good. I really needed the mindset optimization. I really need the vision plan. I really needed something to map this out. This is what page 2 looks like. One of the best things here for speakers and entrepreneurs is figuring out what 3 people should I contact for advice every month. I don't say 4 because that looks like 1 a week, and that seems, I don't know, like a lot. But 3 people for advice. Hey, Don Cooper, what's going on? Hey, I know you are the sales heretic, and sales is such a hot topic right now, and hey, what are the new trends? I'm gonna pick up the phone and call him. And I'm gonna pick up the phone and call people, and y'all, if you want, you pick up the phone and call me, and I will help in any way possible. And then who else can I reach out to who is a decision maker? 3 phone calls a month. Now, if you're Meredith Elliott Powell, you make 3 phone calls before your round of golf and your tennis before 5 o'clock in the morning. But I'm not that good. And then I map out every single month what this looks like. So again, if you want the goodies, this is what this looks like. Thank you. Thank you. This vault changes next week, so please grab this now. When I do mail outs, it's an ugly process. This is what my kitchen table looks like. I do have a teenager who sort of shows up to help me, but I pay her, and sometimes she, has a schedule. So this is what my kitchen table looks like. I do physical mail-outs. I do lumpy mail-outs. Well, like I said, when I run out of my stuff, I use other people's books. I use Thrive. I use A Mind for Sales. I use the Velocity Mindset, thank you, Ron, and I use the Morning Huddle and whatever else that's coming up. Am I gonna promote my friends? You betcha. Every single time. Every single time. And then I'm gonna follow it up. Thank you. And I'm gonna say, hey, just wanting to double check that you got that book. And they go, yes. And if the book doesn't get their attention, the dog does. I'm not above using my dogs. And then when you send me a new book, I'm also gonna take a picture of it with my dog. Thank you. And I'm gonna send it out. And I'm gonna say, hey, Abby loves Kelly Swanson's new positivity journal. I'm gonna promote my friends. Because why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? Now, when I send out Kelly's book, I don't have her one sheet, so I'm gonna send mine. Just saying, I'm gonna send that out. And I'm gonna send out something that I think might be valuable. One of the things I learned from Pamela Jett was to make the packages pretty. I used to just send them in brown wrapping and white things and envelopes that were boring. And Pamela sent me a box of her books, and it was beautifully wrapped with all the crinkle paper and the notes and the stickers, and I went, that's better. It has more of a wow factor. So I'm gonna share with you what my mastermind knows and my secret weapon. I had a bureau contact me and book me. I had never heard of them. I was pretty sure they'd never heard of me too, but they called me and booked me for something. So I went on their site, and I found out that their head people all liked dogs. So not only did they like dogs, but they would post their dogs, and they would post dog quotes. And then they have a team of people. So my secret weapon, cookies. Cookies. I put them, all their faces, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, their faces on cookies. Because when you get a cookie with your face on it, what do? You save it. But if you get Mike Staver's face on a cookie, what do? You bite that head off right away. You're welcome. And then my cookie lady put their dogs on the cookies and then doggy quotes on the cookies that came off their Facebook page. They said, this is the creepiest, stalkery, best thing we've ever gotten. It got their attention. Now, folks, I know that for a lot of people, it's been a rough couple years, but everything is relative. So for us being cooped up in our house, for months on end with the ability to still kind of make a living, I thought, well, that's pretty good. Because you've got to remember, my frame of reference for what a crisis is probably different from yours. Who can tell me how many people live in this space right here? Haven't heard it yet. 18 is the answer. 18 people. You were very close with 16. And when you go out to sea for generally 6 months at a time, but we do workups for a couple months before then, and Carrie knows this, you get 6 inches of personal space underneath that mattress, which we call a rack. 6 inches of personal space and a wall locker. And that's where we live for 6 and 8 and 9 and 10 months at a time. That is your home. So this whole idea that we would be cooped up in our homes and couldn't go out and couldn't go to restaurants, for a lot of us, Carrie, we're like, okay, how is this bad? And see, the problem is my siblings are the same way. So this is my sister on the left-hand side. She was the Air Force officer. She married a naval officer. My older brother, the helicopter pilot, married a naval officer too. There's me right there in the middle of the 2 boys. My husband was a Marine. And then my younger brother was a Navy pilot too. He married a school teacher. And thank goodness for her, because she brings in that different perspective. And a lot of times we need somebody else's perspective to get us on track. And as a school teacher, she taught me the value of being able to figure out where other people are coming from. Now, she's the school teacher. They live right over here in Niceville, Florida. And when I went to school with her, because I wanted to see what she did, I'm fascinated. She teaches first graders. Anybody here have little ones at home? Yeah, they're terrifying. We walk into her classroom and they scatter. And they make that shrieking noise, what is that noise? And it's terrifying, and then there's things coming out of them, and it's sticky. And I looked at her and I said, combat is so much easier than this. And she said, it's all how we think. See, I have to teach the way they learn. I said, oh, that's so great. So then one of my friends said, I'm really struggling with COVID. I said, maybe having a mindset optimization would help a little bit. Are you in the right mind space? And this is one of the 5-minute plans. So I'm going to go through the last part of this really, really quickly. I know I talk fast anyway. Mike, this is just for you, just so many words, so many words. And isn't this great? It's a handout, clearly a handout. So this is all about your messaging, your marketing, your management, and me. This is all about how you build your business. So it's, do you have the right messaging in place? I think Lois Kramer is going to talk about this as well. Are your programs up to speed, and are they current? Are you doing all the right things? And then this is a handout, so this is why I don't feel bad about going through this really fast. Have you updated all of the things you need updating? Are you looking at your website really hard? This is your marketing piece. And then here's your management piece. Again, these are the checklists I use. Please don't take my website as a Bible for this, because it is not. It is in the process of being redone right now. On the management side, what systems do you have in place that allow you to be, as David and Jason said yesterday, consistent in what it is you do all the time? Do we respond quickly to inquiries? This is one of the things where bureaus tell me all the time, we called 3 speakers and then we called you. I'm like, so glad I was your first choice. I don't care. They said, but you always answer the phone. You always get back to us really quickly. Are we responding fast? Are you using systems that help us do this? Are we able to be consistent, and can people count on us? I have a Tuesday newsletter that goes out every single Tuesday. Is it perfect every Tuesday? No, but it goes out every Tuesday. And I have companies who say, Mary, we rely on that every single week for our corporate training. I say, that's awesome. It is that reliability, that dependability that allows me to keep that level of consistency. But it also, if it's Monday night and I don't have an article done, I'm like, oh, put the wine down, start typing, this is what has to happen. And then on us. This is the me part, the 4 M's, the me. Do we consistently over-deliver from the client's perspective? Are we really, really, really easy to work with? And are we delighting the audience? I have to look down because I've never actually looked at this on a screen before, so yay. Do we include the materials that people need? Are we doing all the things that will help them market us, knowing that their jobs have gotten more difficult? And folks, we've got to be ruthless about protecting the things that are important to us. I totally agree with the other speakers who talk about that. Because our life is a finite number of unknown minutes, and we have to be ruthless in how we spend that. I don't know how many of you remember John Alston. Do you remember John Alston? Yep. John Alston was the guy at one of those events when I was a professor at the Naval Academy, and I showed up in uniform with my little hat and my little shoes, my little white uniform. And he said, hey, kid, you're pretty good at this. I'd like to introduce you to an organization called the NSA. And I said, oh, I already work there. He said, we're the other NSA, and he taught us the dance of life. And then my friend Marilyn Sherman right here, who's always in the front row, and she's in the front row, not just being in the front row, participating, but she is cheering sitting in the front row. And then if you know Ed, he's like, let's have some philanthropy through fun and contribute to the NSA Foundation. And if you're Neen, you stress, do what is most important, because a lot of us forget that. And if you're Michael Hoffman, Hoff, are you here? I just got to see him talk, and he said, you know what, make strong choices. I thought, that's so great, make strong choices. And then if you're Gina Carr, you taught me this early on in Canada when we got to speak together, and I just thought it was the most delightful thing ever. She says, if you don't know what to do and you're sitting in your office, you just go throw some social media candy like Mardi Gras. Wow, that's fantastic, that's awesome. And then if you're Beth Z, you say, that's okay, you don't have to worry about time management because there's an app for that. And if you're Lori Guest, you say, and I've got a budget for almost anything you need in your 3-tiered system. And if you're Bill, you say, don't worry, the solution is somewhere in the NSA vault. You can't get into it, but it's in there somewhere. We're gonna get you in there. Messing with you, Bill. And then if you're Bill Staten, you just come out and go, well, I got 29 Emmys. And that's kind of how this works. This is the time management slide. This is a handout. Let me give you a couple highlights. Have routines that work for you, that contribute to your strategic plan every single day. Plan your work and work your plan. That's what my dad used to say. And in case you're wondering, the first thing to do every single day when you get up is whatever is going to make you money. Never, ever, ever wait until you feel like doing something before you do it. I told Jamie last night at the bar, I was like, look, you don't make business decisions based on feelings. If you want to have feelings, go have a donut. You eat those feelings and you make a good business decision on non-emotional things. That is what you do. Don't wait till you feel like doing something, because that will never happen. In the time management world, you got to do it, you got to delay it, you got to delegate it or delete it. That's it, and be ruthless about it. You're also getting, by the way, the 5-minute plan. You're getting the opportunity plan. David Averin, this is from you, because this was all about the opportunity. If you need help with customer service, you know what? Pick up Shep's latest book, and folks, you are my family. And when I think of all of you here, I need to tell you that it is the Hawaiian word called kina ole. And it means do the right thing at the right time with the right spirit to the right person every time. So thank you so much, folks. I really appreciate y'all.